Well, we are at a tipping point moment for all-out massive war in the Middle East. This is exactly, of course, what Benjamin Netanyahu has been dreaming about for years, dreaming about this moment. Sources I've spoken to inside Israel today believe a massive attack could be coming as early as tonight from Iran. One journalist I spoke to in Syria this morning says Syrians are sitting on pins and needles right now because they know that war means they will be attacked by Israel. Israel will attack Syria. The Syrian military is preparing. Russia has been preparing to protect Syria. They've been shooting down drones and missiles over Syria. And the U.S. government desperately wants to join a new war. This meme, I think, says it all. Take a look. America, no, honey, you have to finish your Ukraine before you can have any Iran. This, of course, is why Zelensky in Ukraine is ramping up attacks inside the Russian territory. And as of Sunday, Ukraine attacked the largest nuclear power plant in Europe. Ukraine set fire to the cooling facility, of course, that controls the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. The Western media immediately blamed Russia. It was Putin that did it, that attacked his own power plant, that his forces have been controlling for the past 2 years. But you're not stupid. You are not sheep that follow the corporate media.
Well, what the corporate media responded by saying, well, Zelensky said they're trying to blackmail me. They're trying to blackmail Kiev. So Zelensky says that Russia bombed its own nuclear power plant to cause a nuclear fallout in its own territory to blackmail Ukraine. Does that make any sense? I don't bomb my own house when I'm in a negotiation with somebody else. That's very strange.
Yeah, that's ridiculous, of course. You're not stupid, though, and you won't fall for it. But, I mean, literally the mainstream media runs with these headlines, and then people are sitting there reading, the BBC, or they're watching, reading the Telegraph or whatever, these other newspapers. Like, wow, yeah, Putin, he just blew up his own nuclear power plant. I mean, you have to be stupid. I guess he also blew up his own Nord Stream pipeline. Again, idiots out there. So Zelensky's desperate move to say, hey, I know that you're about to go to war with Iran. Pay attention to me. Don't forget about me. Well, now they've literally forgotten about you because Vladimir Putin earlier today in a speech announced, we are done negotiating with Kiev. So you got your wish. You made your bed. Now lie in it. And he says a massive response is coming to Ukraine. So again, you move into the Kursk region. You launch attacks against a nuclear power plant. All right, instead of negotiating peace, they're done. Over the past few hours, the United States has sent the USS Georgia, a nuclear submarine, to the Middle East. They've also just sent F-22 fighter jets to the region, and as CBS News reports, a lot more.
Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin says a guided missile submarine is being deployed to the Middle East as tensions between Israel and Iran continue to grow. The Pentagon says it has also ordered an aircraft carrier strike group to speed up its arrival to the region. The leaders of France, Germany, and the UK are all urging Israel and Hamas to negotiate a permanent ceasefire.
So just take a look at your screen. Here are the most recent U.S. Navy assets in the Middle East. It's pretty startling, and it's growing it's growing right now by the hour. I love that the USS Cole is there. Remember what happened to the USS Cole? We're sending the USS Cole right back to Yemen where it was attacked years ago. Man, that's bravado. And the Houthi rebels would love nothing more than to attack American soldiers and American ships, and they plan to. They've openly said they're going to if the United States involves itself. And they have. So, again, Americans are sitting ducks at the moment. American soldiers sitting there. I just saw someone in the chat say, hell no, I don't want my son going to that region, fighting and dying for this, so Netanyahu can get his war against Iran. So this is in addition to any large naval assets just moved to the region in the past few weeks: Marine expeditionary units, U.S. aircraft carriers, battle cruisers, nuclear submarines. Axios reporting overnight that, yes, Iran is about to attack Israel. This according to Axios. New Israeli intelligence suggests Iran prepares to attack Israel within days, says sources. The Israeli intelligence community's updated assessment is that Iran is poised to attack Israel directly in retaliation for the assassination of Hamas's political leader in Tehran, and is likely to do so within days, two sources with direct knowledge of the issue. But at the bottom of the screen here, Israeli Minister Yoav Gallant spoke on Sunday with U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin, told him that Iranian military preparations preparations suggest Iran is getting ready for a large-scale attack, a source with knowledge of the call said.
So you would think then, because we're reading this and we're astute readers, you would say, maybe they shouldn't have done that? Do they think they maybe shouldn't have attacked inside a sovereign nation to get a Hamas leader? Maybe they should apologize. Maybe
These
they should
assassinations?
Yeah, maybe they should talk down from that and say, "Oh, we're sorry we did that. We really thought this guy was a hot target. We needed him."
No.
Is there and like
they got
we
exactly
don't get
what
that?
They wanted.
Right.
Yes.
They got exactly what they wanted.
Right.
They
Right.
told
Why would they
Santa what they
apologize?
wanted for Christmas, and they got it.
And here's Santa arriving with U.S. aircraft carriers and American forces and weapons and money. So again, listen to what Benjamin Netanyahu has said for years in front of the United States Congress, asking us to go to war with Iran. He did so just a few weeks ago, for crying out loud. Pay it. And then in private meetings, we now know from sources in private meetings, Netanyahu was meeting on Washington in Capitol Hill with senators, high-level members of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, basically prepping for this war. That's why he was there. He wasn't there to do like a speech in front of Congress. That was a piece of it in order to get more money and PR. But of course, the real deal was the meetings behind the scenes, of course. So it's coming. But they need you. They need you to be American sheep right now. They're hoping that you will be, to support American forces being used as cannon fodder to protect Israel. They're depending on you being sheep. That's what they want. Overnight, American forces were hurt in Syria. Why the hell are Americans illegally in Syria? As Congressman Matt Gaetz has tried to get us out of there, asking that question, why the hell are we there? U.S. personnel wounded in attack against base in Iraq, officials say. That's, again, in addition to where Americans were hurt. We don't know initially if the U.S. Why the hell are Americans illegally in Syria? Who attacked them? Well, we don't know. Initially, the U.S. tried to hide the attack and said no Americans were hurt. Well, now we know that that's not true. They had to admit now overnight, yes, multiple Americans were hurt. In fact, they may have traumatic brain injuries. Oh, Americans with traumatic brain injuries. Again, why are they there? You sick bastards who put American forces in Syria illegally. And now they're being attacked, used as cannon fodder. Again, I ask you, you can say whatever you want about it. You can say, I don't give a rat's about any of these other countries right now. I care about Americans being used as cannon fodder in someone else's war games. And that's exactly what's happening, you sick bastards, putting these men there right now, using Americans as bait to draw us into a full Middle Eastern war. Get out now, because they're sending more Americans to die in Netanyahu's war. That's exactly what's happening. U.S. personnel wounded in attack against base in Iraq. This comes just days after American forces were wounded in Iraq. Again, why are they in Iraq? Get out now, please. Congressman Thomas Massie just posted this on X on August 10th. He said, Biden and the deep state are just itching to get us into a serious conflict with Iran. We have to tell them no. No. Remember that Massie is one of the only members of the United States Congress not paid for by the Israeli lobby. That might rub some people the wrong way, but it's the truth. So he's allowed to say this because he's not controlled. Like we are. Like we get to say what we want because we're not controlled opposition. And over the weekend, the United States media and political elite started going into overdrive, manufacturing consent for war against Iran, claiming that the latest assassination attempt on President Trump came from Iran. Pakistani man with ties to Iran charged in foiled assassination plot potentially targeting Trump, DOJ says. Oh, Biden's Department of Justice says that Iran is behind the attack plan. You guys should believe everything the DOJ says, right? You guys, I'm sure, believe everything the Biden Department of Justice says. They came immediately. They're tied to Iran. Okay, this guy, Pakistani man, who is controlled by Iran, is hiring assassins to hit Trump again. Okay, sure.
Because of the Soleimani assassination during the Trump years, that they're not over that
retribution,
yet.
And we're coming after you.
Right.
Right. So again, don't fall for this propaganda, guys. Netanyahu wants nothing more than for every one of you right now watching to be sheep, for you to want a war with Iran. That's why he came to the United States a few weeks ago, pushing for a war with Iran, held private meetings on the plans for attacking Iran. He wants you on board with this, and the PR campaign is strong. If you thought, oh, this is just some corrupt Biden administration trying to drag us into war with Iran, not so fast. Remember that there is a uniparty in the United States. It's not just the Biden administration. It is the neocons in the Republican Party who are salivating at this. Salivating. The Trump campaign is actively also trying to scare you into hating Iran. Over the past few hours, the Trump campaign says their campaign servers were hacked by Iran. Okay. Really? Former President Donald Trump's campaign said this weekend in a statement that it has been hacked. Okay, these documents were obtained illegally from foreign sources hostile to the United States. Okay, Trump spokesman said, pointing specifically to Iran, ramping up their attempts to hack their campaign.
With no proof, just it's a foreign source. You should think about this. Most likely Iran.
Yeah, just jump to Iran. Right. Just immediately, it's Iran. A Trump spokesman said Iran ramped up their attempts to hack their campaign. And right away, this is bullshit. Of course, the New York Times agrees with the Trump campaign. The hackings of presidential campaigns begins with usual fog of motives. Yeah, and Trump says Iranians hacked campaign, but only obtained publicly available data. Okay. The moment I saw this story, I thought it was a pile of bullshit. It smelled like a big pile of steaming bullshit. And that Iran hacked the Trump campaign. Okay, sure. Not quite. Even DC Drano, who is the biggest Trump supporter in the world, called BS on this. Let's call this what it truly is. The CIA hacked Trump, not Iran, he writes. Or at the very least, CISA and the CIA allowed Iran to hack Trump. Either way, we all know who's at fault here. The same deep state that Trump has promised to destroy and prosecute when he's back in power. Even Trump friend Roger Stone called BS on the Iran hacking story. I think they should get on the same page. Iranian assassination plot against Trump, my ass, he writes. FBI disinformation so they can conveniently blame the Iranians if there is another attack on Trump. Oh, and the Iranians are also behind the hack of the Trump campaign. Not so clever. Pray for President Trump's safety. Here is Roger Stone in his own words. Listen.
Suddenly, the FBI announces they've uncovered an Iranian plot to kill Trump. This to me smells like a setup. So that if there is another attack on Trump of any kind, a road bomb, a drone, or God forbid another bullet, well, then they can conveniently blame the Iranians.
Right. So they're going to be blaming the Iranians. Sure. J.D. Vance, upon immediately being chosen, of course, was out there first. Yeah, we got to hit Iran hard. So there's a uniparty right now, and I don't know that the Trump campaign, all these pieces are on the same page, because you literally have like Trump surrogates saying it's not the Iranians. Like, it's not them. Come on, get your heads out of your asses.
Well, I mean, it very well could be, but we have not seen proof. So where's the proof?
It could be Martians as well.
Right. In the same way that we had proof that Russia was preparing an attack on the United States at the beginning of 2022, because the State Department said so. They were planning something bad, right? So again, where is the proof? It is just too convenient of a narrative when we know that the powers that be want war with Iran on the heels of war with Russia, and preferably both at the same time at the expense of your loved ones.
So we are being played like a fiddle right now, guys. Bottom line. And they're using false flags to drive us into war with Iran, defending Israel with American lives. So don't be sheep. Don't fall for it. And what I'm really worried about is over the next 24, 48 hours, they're going to using even bigger false flags. Just forget the Trump campaign hacked story. Most Americans really probably don't care. You're going to need something bigger. They tried, okay, this guy was a Pakistani. He's Iranian backed. He's trying to kill Trump again. So you should all hate Iran. Mm-hmm. No, they got to try something bigger. Like, I'm talking like USS Liberty bigger. Like, oh, we got all these warships in the Middle East now. What if Iran mysteriously attacks one of those warships? Remember the Maine, remember the Gulf of Tonkin. Let's go after those Iranians. Let's attack them. So I'm just really, really worried right now that they're going to be using this as a false flag to drag us into a deeper Middle Eastern war right now.
Not for the first time.